Welcome to Underworld UK, where Britain's darkest stories are brought to light. From the gritty streets of gangland London, Liverpool, Manchester and Birmingham, from Curtis Warren to the Cray twins to county lines and modern-day true crime, we cover everything. Bringing you new videos every week. Subscribe so that you'll be notified when the next video is put out.
In British policing, access to information is power. Every officer understands that the systems they log into each day contain lives, investigations, informants, and operations that can collapse if exposed. Trust is the foundation of the uniform, and when that trust is broken from within, the damage runs far deeper than any single crime. This is the story of Lorna Pennycook, a police constable trusted with sensitive intelligence, and our secret relationship with a career criminal led to one of the most serious corruption cases to emerge from West Midlands Police in recent years. It began, like many modern relationships, online. In 2016, Lorna Pennycook met Anthony Kennedy through a dating website. At the time, Pennycook was already an experienced police officer. She had joined West Midlands Police in 2009 and spent much of her career in Birmingham's neighbourhood policing units. Kennedy, meanwhile, was no stranger to the criminal justice system. By his early 40s, he had amassed a criminal record that included vehicle theft, theft from vehicles, handling stolen goods, and involvement in organised crime. By Pennycook's own later admission, she became aware of Kennedy's criminal background not long after the relationship began, but rather than distancing herself, she stayed. When Kennedy eventually discovered that Pennycook was a serving police officer, his reaction was immediate. He wanted to end the relationship. He feared the attention it could bring. He feared how it would look among his criminal associates. For someone immersed in the underworld, dating a police officer was a liability. Pennycook refused to let the relationship end. Recovered messages later shown in court revealed a response. She told Kennedy she had accepted everything about him. She told him that love wasn't a choice. More tellingly, she persuaded him that staying together could actually be beneficial. That was the moment the line was crossed. By 2017, Pennycook had begun accessing police systems for reasons entirely unrelated to her duties. Over the next 4 years, she would repeatedly log into multiple confidential databases, searching information linked directly to Kennedy, his vehicles, his associates, and criminal activity in areas she had no responsibility for policing. One location appeared again and again in the data logs: Sandwell. Sandwell was where Kennedy lived, and between 2017 and 2021, Pennycook conducted no fewer than 42 separate checks for outstanding warrants in that area, a staggering number when compared with the handful of checks she performed for other districts she did not police. The pattern was unmistakable. These were not accidental clicks, they were deliberate searches. Pennycook had access to some of the most sensitive police systems available: crime reports, intelligence logs, custody records, details of suspects, vehicle registrations, planned warrants, complainant information, and ongoing investigations. Information that in the wrong hands could derail operations or place lives at risk. And that information was being passed directly to a known criminal. Between August and November 2017, Pennycook searched police systems in relation to 2 HGV thefts Kennedy was involved in, one on 22 August and another on 26 October. She viewed investigation logs, searched for suspects, and checked whether warrants were outstanding. Kennedy would later be sentenced to 32 months in prison for those offences, but at the time, the information Pennycook supplied gave him an advantage: insight into how closely police were circling, what they knew, and when to be cautious. The relationship deepened, and so did the corruption. Over the following years, Pennycook continued to carry out checks at Kennedy's request. Some searches were made immediately after messages between them, others followed discussions about his associates or rumours of police activity. The information she provided had the potential not only to warn Kennedy, but to obstruct active investigations. She knew exactly what she was doing. Evidence recovered from a phone showed Pennycook repeatedly instructing Kennedy to delete their messages. She warned him not to keep anything. In February 2021, she went further, asking Kennedy to obtain a burner phone so their communications could not be traced back to her. This was not the behaviour of someone acting in fear, it was the behaviour of someone trying to avoid detection. By this point, Pennycook's policing career had progressed. She had worked with Birmingham East and West organised crime and gangs teams, units specifically tasked with dismantling criminal networks like the one her partner was connected to. In March 2021, she was posted to the organised crime and gangs team as a constable. Behind the scenes, she was feeding intelligence to the very world she was supposed to fight. The volume of contact between Pennycook and Kennedy would later become a crucial part of the case. In police interviews following her arrest, Pennycook attempted to shift the blame. She claimed Kennedy had ruined her life. She claimed she had acted out of fear and pressure. The data told a very different story. Call records showed Pennycook contacted Kennedy significantly more times than he contacted her. On one single day, she attempted to call him 81 times. He answered only 3. On several occasions, Kennedy blocked her number altogether. The imbalance was stark. This was not coercion, it was fixation. In November 2020, concerns were formally raised. West Midlands Police made a referral to the Independent Office for Police Conduct. An anti-corruption investigation was launched under IOPC direction, focusing on Pennycook's system access between 2017 and 2021. The findings were damning. Investigators uncovered repeated unauthorised access to confidential intelligence over a period of more than 3.5 years. They identified information relating to active investigations, planned warrants, and sensitive complainant details, all accessed for non-policing purposes and shared with a known criminal. Pennycook was arrested in April 2021. She resigned from the force 3 months later. By October 2021, the investigation file was passed to the Crown Prosecution Service. The decision was made to charge her with misconduct in public office, one of the more serious offences a serving officer can face. In March 2023, Pennycook pleaded guilty. Anthony Kennedy initially pleaded not guilty to encouraging or assisting offences, but in March 2024, he changed his plea to guilty. At Birmingham Crown Court, the full picture emerged. Judges heard how Pennycook had accessed police systems around 200 times, how she had deliberately sought information that would benefit Kennedy and his associates, how she had attempted to conceal her actions by deleting messages and requesting burner phones. They heard how Kennedy, a man with 18 previous convictions for 41 offences, had once been jailed for 8 years over a gang lorryjacking operation in Oldbury, how he considered ending the relationship to protect his criminal reputation, only to be persuaded that keeping Pennycook close was advantageous. Sentencing Pennycook to 4 years imprisonment, the court rejected her claims of fear and pressure. Her actions were described as calculated, deliberate and systemic. She was an experienced officer. She knew the rules. She knew the consequences. Kennedy was sentenced to 4 years in custody alongside her. Prosecutors were clear in their condemnation. Pennycook's behaviour had risked damaging public trust and confidence in policing. She had abused her position not once, but repeatedly over years. This was not a lapse of judgment, it was corruption. Following the criminal case, a misconduct panel concluded that Pennycook's actions amounted to gross misconduct. Had she not already resigned, she would have been dismissed without hesitation. The panel found her conduct was in no sense coerced and that her attempts to minimise responsibility were untruthful. For the Independent Office for Police Conduct, the case stood as a warning. For West Midlands Police, it was a stain. For the public, it was a reminder that corruption doesn't always look like envelopes of cash. Sometimes it looks like loyalty, obsession, and blurred lines. A police officer who crossed into the underworld didn't just betray the badge, she armed it against itself. and when the system finally caught up, there was nowhere left to hide.